Let's talk to the leading Republican campaigns now. Stephen Miller is senior policy advisor to Donald Trump, and Ron Naring, national spokesman for the Ted Cruz campaign. Stephen, let me start with you. Mr. Trump just released a negative ad in Florida targeting Marco Rubio. Take a quick listen.
Marco Rubio, another corrupt, all talk, no action politician.
The fact that you have released this ad today suggests to me that you are at least a little bit worried about Rubio in Florida.
First of all, Jake, thanks for having me on. It's great to talk with you. What we're worried about is what Marco Rubio is going to do to Florida and the whole country. Let's remember what the Trump campaign has always been about. It's been about returning power to the working people of this country. What this ad is about the corruption of Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio, who ran for Senate in 2010 on a solemn promise to defeat amnesty, then became the biggest champion of amnesty in the entire U.S. Congress. Marco Rubio, the no-show senator who spent all of his time fundraising and betraying the voters of Florida. A man who has shown that his only allegiance is to the donor class. So we are trying to stop Marco Rubio in Florida because we are worried about what Marco Rubio will do to this country.
All right, Ron, let me go to you. Ted Cruz calling for Rubio and Kasich to drop out of the race. Rubio just won a contest yesterday. Why should he drop out?
Well, only one candidate is on a pathway in order to be able to defeat Donald Trump, become the Republican nominee, and then defeat Hillary Clinton going into November, and that's Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio simply can't win enough delegates as he goes forward. I mean, after every time they wind up losing a state which they said that they would win, South Carolina, Nevada, etc., they always come back with the same response, which is, well, the map looking forward looks, looks great for us or so, but it doesn't. And the fact that Marco Rubio is having to spend all this time trying to defend his own state where he's behind really is proof of that. So these other candidates who can't get to the nomination really need to consider whether they want to continue or whether they should drop out, and then Ted Cruz will become the alternative to Donald Trump.
Stephen, I want to get your response to a new ad that the American Future Fund is putting out in Florida. It features former prisoner of war Lieutenant Colonel Tom Hanton, who spent 13 months in the notorious Hanoi Hilton. Take a listen.
When I heard Donald Trump insult my fellow prisoners of war from Vietnam by calling us losers, that was the most infuriating comment I think I've heard from a politician in my entire life. Trump would not have survived the POW experience. He would have been probably the first one to fold. Learn about Donald Trump. He is not what he appears to be.
Your boss said of John McCain last summer, he's not a war hero. I like people who weren't captured. Do you think that Trump's view of prisoners of war might influence how he would act as commander-in-chief if a service member were captured? He has voiced an opinion that he doesn't like people who were captured.
I don't think anybody believes that Donald Trump's comment at that moment was serious. What I can tell you is that no candidate will be better for veterans than Donald Trump. Veterans are dying waiting for health care in this country. And there are plenty of politicians in Washington, D.C. who talk a good game while our veterans die waiting for needed care. So I tell you solemnly today, there is no candidate who will be better for our veterans than Donald J. Trump, and that is the bottom line.
You just heard from a former prisoner of war who took seriously what Donald Trump said.
There's no doubt that people are going to spend millions of dollars on ads trying to throw everything they can at Donald Trump. That's just a fact. We understand that. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are going to spend tens of millions of dollars more than Donald Trump is going to spend. Listen, read between the lines to what Ron is saying today. Ron keeps saying, we're the only ones who can beat Donald Trump. We're the only ones who can defeat this person and that person. What we're talking about, what our campaign is talking about, is winning for the American people. Everybody else is obsessed with politics. Every other campaign is obsessed with, we're going to stop this person, we're going to stop that person. What about, we're going to stop the donor class from taking away the birthright of American citizens who've been betrayed for 50 years by trade deals that have sent our jobs overseas, by immigration policies that have sent our wealth away from the working people of this country.
Okay, Stephen.
We're going to win for American workers.
Ron, let me just ask you, going forward, where can Ted Cruz win? What's the next state you think you're going to win?
Well, you'll have to forgive me if I don't engage in the curtain raising, in that regard. Look, we're going to continue to pick up delegates as we go forward. We're going to continue to certainly outperform Marco Rubio, and we'll outperform Donald Trump in other states. We're going to continue to do that. And then, of course, as we all know, there's going to be a great amount of attention placed upon Florida because Marco Rubio is in so much trouble among the people who know him best. And that's why I was in Florida this past weekend. That's why the candidates are stepping up the campaigns there, because Marco Rubio is weak. Marco Rubio can't win Florida. It's going to be only a question as to which candidate does, and that's why we're fully active and engaged there.
All right, Stephen Miller with the Trump campaign, Ron Naring with the Cruz campaign. Thank you to both of you.